Oh my God. Let me show you what I got. This beat is so hot. Oh my God.
Is that bullshit?
I think not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Candy Shop Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens. Here with me are the Mike and Ike's, the candy to this shop. Fellas, how you doing today? How was your Halloween? Ike, I already know how yours was. LaPlante, how was your Halloween, man?
Mine was fun. I handed out candy for kids. I saw you guys went trick-or-treating with your son. How did that go? I know it was pretty windy.
It was cool, man. The winds were howling, that's for sure. But he had a good time. He got a whole boatload of candy, so it was good, man. And I've been munching on that. Gave something to Ike to take home. Hopefully,
yeah, my dad pretty much ate all of it.
Nice. I like that a lot. Well, you'll get a kick out of this story. So my son's autistic, right? And we were walking. His bag got pretty full of plant, and we brought extra plastic bags to dump his bag in plastic bags, right? And then we'll just keep going. So we're like, yeah, dude, we'll stop. Let's dump it. I'm getting the plastic bags out of my coat. He just takes his bag and just dumps it all over the ground right in front of this person's house.
All over
in the grass and everything.
Because he takes everything literal that you say. I
was done laughing. You just straight like, all right.
My wife just looked at me. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. It was so funny. But anyways, yeah.
Why'd you drop the bags? It's all your fault, Dylan.
It was awesome. But what did you guys think of Thursday Night Football? The Jets come back and win in the second half after a brutal, ugly start of the game. It was pretty much a kitchen sink game for the Jets. They did everything they could to win the game, and they did it. How you guys feel after that one?
I just feel worse for Texans fans than I do for Jet fans right now because without his weapons, I know he gets Nico back. I don't know if it's going to help a whole lot. Diggs was a big help towards him this year. But I don't know. CJ Stroud's not what we expected, that's for sure. That quarterback 5 to 8 range where everybody was drafting him.
Yep. With the combination of them wanting to be run heavy and him losing his weapons, it's a nightmare fantasy season.
I had a weird feeling that the acquisition of Joe Mixon would hinder CJ Stroud a little bit more, but I didn't think this much. Like, it's Joe Mixon scoring everything.
Yeah. I think it's more the injuries hindering.
Yeah, that too. But even when they were all there, it's not like they were doing that great. It was a deep shot to Nico here and there, but
we know what CJ Stroud is. He doesn't do well against good defenses on the road, and that's what that matchup was. The Jets defense on the road. So
yeah,
it's
not too surprising.
With Tank Dell being the only guy, it was good to see him show out a little bit over 100 yards receiving. I want to say on like 5 or 6 catches, like 19-something fantasy points. So that was great to see. He finally broke out a little bit. Before we jump into our Week 9 game previews, I just want to remind everyone, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And head on over to fantasy6pack.net/play to become an all-access member. That's where you get access to our award-winning rankings, draft cheat sheets when we have fantasy drafts coming up. But you get access to our F6P Discord, everybody, and that's where you get direct access to everybody on our staff. And I'll fill you in a little bit. Last night, Dave Eddy was in there in the Discord talking his favorite plays, talking his lineups, and he ended up winning over $1,000, guys. It's just $9.99 a month to be an all-access member, and he's giving out picks and DFS plays and all that stuff. And you can get access to that just becoming an all-access member. So make sure to go to fantasy6pack.net/plans and check that out. Well, without further ado, guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into things. And just want to remind everyone how we do it. The boys are going to give their sweet and sour plays. Sweet plays are guys who absolutely blow up this week and maybe win you the week. Sour plays are guys who you just really don't want to start. Some you still might have to, but you need to temper expectations. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got 2 teams on bye weeks. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers and Niners off this week. So the first game on the sheet, we got is the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Cowboys actually get 3.5 points on the road. Vegas not thrilled with the Cowboys. Don't think they're great. Game total 52. Cowboys are still without a lot of their top defenders. You got Micah Parsons, Deron Bland, still out. Zach Martin, offensive lineman,
Diggs just got hurt.
Trayvon Diggs is questionable with a calf injury.
He actually has a slight tear. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
That's what Jerry Jones said today, which a slight tear could be a sprain too, because technically that is.
By the way, not great.
Yeah, definitely not great. But Ike, we'll go ahead and start with you. Who is your sweet play in this matchup?
This one will be weird, but I think I'm going to go with Dak. I have a feeling it's going to be a shootout, and Dak looked better in the second half last game. Him and CD connected quite a lot, so I see that continuing this week against the Falcons. I know Terrell might be on CD Lamb for a decent amount, but I'm not worried about it. CD's the alpha. You can also say CD2 can win you the week as well.
Yeah, CD has the chance to win you the week every week, and we saw that last week in our matchup. What you did to me gave me a little justice for not keeping him. That hurt. But Mike, what do you got here? Who is your sweet play out of this matchup?
Actually, I'm going to start with my sour play because I want
it's
to.
It's your show. We're just living in it, man.
Well, it's because he started with his sweet play being Dak Prescott.
Oh, nice. You're going to say Dak, huh?
It is Dak Prescott. He only has 2 top 12 finishes on the year, 1 top 10 finish. Falcons are the 7th best matchup for QBs, but it's hard to trust Dak right now. I mean, here's the thing. If Dak is going to get on his hot streak like he did last year, this is the game where it's going to happen, because if he can actually, get consistent play out of him, this is such a shootout game with how Atlanta Falcons play with their pace of play. So I think that Atlanta gets up big, maybe not big, but they get up on the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to have to, fight back. But I mean, we saw that with the Lions and how did Dak?
What did Dak finish his last week?
Last week I think it was QB 20, but let me double check it.
Yeah,
he's my sour play this week because I just don't trust it. I'm being a little edgy with it, and because it's one of these games where I think it could be a trap shootout. Where everyone he was QB 18 last week against the Niners. But I just think it's one of those games where everyone thinks it's going to be a shootout, and it makes me think it's a little bit of a trap because I mean that Lions game should have been a shootout. The way that the Lions allow points to wide receivers, but they couldn't get anything going, so that worries me here against the Falcons.
Yeah, no, I get that. Why don't you go right into your sweet pick then, Mike? Who do you got there?
You're going to call me biased on this one, but it's Bijan. It's just such a good matchup for running backs. The Cowboys here, 4th best matchup. Bijan is the RB1 over the last 3 weeks, which was a little shocking when I saw that. If you push it out to 4 weeks, he's the RB4, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. He's got 20 touches a game the past 3 weeks. That's absolutely what we love in a running back with of his talent. And those 20 touches a game is 9th in the NFL. So if he's going to get top 10 touches in the NFL against a juicy matchup against this, I think it's another one of those weeks where he's a top 5 running back.
All right, that's good to hear for all the Bijan.
I mean,
I tend to agree there. Dallas could get beat up pretty much.
Which means Algier is in play. If you're desperation for a flex, Algier is in play here with the matchup.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Ike, what are your thoughts here? Who is your sour play? Where are you going?
I'm going to go with the easy one because nobody should have any of these guys in their lineups is the Cowboy running backs. They will lose you a week for sure.
It's a direct shot at you, Michael Plant.
That's not nice.
No,
I don't believe him because I think Donald could have a week where he gets the receptions with the way that Atlanta plays.
I do not, but I just don't like any of them. But if any of them do it, like you said, it would be Dowdle.
You got Dalvin Cook in the mix now.
Who is also coming off, I don't know what
Falcons.
injury it was, but he got
I'm
banged up.
surprised you don't know this stat, but Falcons have the second most receptions allowed to running backs at 47.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine. Watch it just be randomly Zeke or Dalvin Cook, though.
it's not the only reason it was Dalvin Cook last week is because Dowdle popped up with food poisoning and couldn't play. So that's why they elevated Cook. Cook is not going to be active if Dowdle's active, and it's going to be Zeke, if anything.
Says you.
Says you. We got a question here for Albert. Would we go Josh Downs with Joe Flacco at the helm now, or Darnell Mooney full PPR? Darnell Mooney in this match.
I like both of them.
There are, I mean, if you can get both in your matchup, go for it, but it's Downs over Mooney. With Flacco.
I agree.
Yeah.
Colts do got Vikings, though.
The Vikings give up a lot.
That's a great matchup.
That's fair, yeah. That's fair.
Receivers, yeah. So I think
It's a better matchup for Flacco than it is for Richardson.
Yeah, that one's tough. Well, I guess I'll side with you guys here. We'll jump into our next game. We got the Denver Broncos taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Broncos getting 9.5 points on the road. Gabe total 46.5. Kind of a big number here with the Broncos playing pretty well. Baltimore coming off a loss to Cleveland. We'll just let you dive right into it. Who is your sweet or sour play? I'll just let you take it away, whatever you want, man, because that's what you did the first time.
Well, I was running off of Ike. That's, what a good show does. But I'm going to start with my sweet player this time because I love my sweet player this game. And it's a guy who's been real hot, real spicy. It's Bo Nix.
God damn it.
Nix has finished as a top 10 QB 3 of the last 4 weeks. Baltimore is the third best matchup for QBs, one of 7 teams allowing 20 plus fantasy points a game to QBs. I just think this is another week where, Bo Nix is a top 10 QB, at least fringe, top 10 QB with this matchup.
I agree. Jameis just cooked the Ravens last week, so I expect Bo Nix to be able to do something like that. Plus, Bo Nix can run, so.
I couldn't pull a trigger on it. I know he's ranked in the top 10 everywhere. I get it, what he's done the last couple weeks, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I got CJ Stroud on the bench right now in the home league, and I picked up Stafford over him. I just have more faith in the veteran, and I know it's a great matchup, but who's not to say Baltimore figures it out this week?
Fortunately, Puka might not be there now, though.
Yeah, I'm aware. He
couldn't pull the trigger.
I don't love it. I don't love it, but we'll let you go right into it, Ike. Who's your sour player?
Javonte Williams. I think the Bo Nix factor is going to be in it. I mean, Javonte will get some receptions, but Jaleel McLaughlin's still a thing. He's going to steal some stuff. And plus, the Ravens have a good rush defense.
Yeah, man. Javonte, I was
Go
hoping he was going to work his way into trustworthy RB2 territory, but there ain't nothing trustworthy about him. He's in smash matchups, and he's just not getting it.
Yeah.
So I'm over him. You can kind of – hopefully you have better options than him, which I know some of us don't. It's tough out there right now, but with only 2 teams on bye weeks, hopefully you're all right. You're surviving for now. Mike, where are you going here?
I mean, I'm not completely off of him, but he is my sour pick. It is Javonte Williams. For 3 straight weeks, the snap percentage has decreased 67%, 63, and then 57 last week. Like I said, it's a tough matchup, 7th toughest for running backs. He is getting 16 touches a game the past 3 weeks, so that's still startable. It's still startable. But, just don't expect that top 15 RB finish that we were getting, 2 weeks ago. It's going to be a back-end RB2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
like 24 to 28 in that range.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys there. Definitely not a fan. Not a fan. Jamie, what's going on, man? Nice to see you popping in here. Jumping into the next game, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins getting 6 points on the road here to the Bills. Gabe total 49.5. This is an interesting game here, man. Dolphins in desperate need of a win here. This is definitely a kitchen sink game for them. Got to throw everything at them. It's good to see they got Tua. They got their weapons back. Mike, we'll start with you. Who's your sweet play out of this matchup, man?
I am going sour on this one because sweet I feel like is pretty easy with all the weapons back. You kind of want Hill and Waddle, although it is a tough matchup. They do struggle against the Bills, but I still like it. For sour though, I would go Keon Coleman and the whole Buffalo wide receiver core. Dolphins are somehow number one against the wide receivers right now, so you got probably a James Cook and Josh Allen on the ground type of game here. I'm not too thrilled about Kincaid either, so.
Yeah, Dalton, no ceiling Kincaid, man. Kincaid's been okay. He's seeing 6-7 targets, I want to say, the last 4 weeks or so. So obviously you're rolling with him. Yeah. He's doing okay for what the tight end position is, man. He's just not ever going to win you a week. I mean, ever. So we'll kick it over to Mike here. What do you got going on here, man, for this Bills Dolphins matchup?
What would you like me to go? Oh, fearless leader, my sweet or my sour?
I did both, so go.
All right, I'll go with my sour pick because I love my sweet pick much more. My sour pick is Jalen Waddle. 2 or 3 games now with Tua. Waddle has finished inside the top 36. No, I read that completely wrong. My apologies. 2 of the 3 games with Tua healthy, Waddle has finished outside the top 36 for wide receivers, and that's with Tua. Obviously he wasn't even thought in your mind without Tua, but right now with Tua he is struggling. Bills are 7th toughest matchup for wide receivers, so I'm benching Waddle if I got the options until I can see it again from him and Tua. And then going into my sweet picks, it's both running backs in this matchup. James Cook, his best finish of the year so far was week 2 against Miami, where he finishes RB3. Miami is the 12th best matchup for running backs. And James Cook is getting 16 touches a game the last 3 weeks. So this is a good matchup for him. And then Devon Achane. Bills are the 2nd best matchup for running backs. We start all our running backs against the Bills because they play a zone to stop the pass and you can run all over them. They also are the team that allowed the most receptions to running backs, 51 receptions through 7 games.
Jesus.
I know it's a lot. And then in the 3 games that Tua has started and finished the game, keyword, HN has finished as RB3, RB2, and RB3 and has had 20 receptions on 22 targets in those 3 games. So I feel like HN is probably going to smash. It's just part of their offense for him to be involved with Tua.
Right on. Isn't it wild how just having a quarterback too opens up the run game, especially the Dolphins run game? Because they weren't doing anything without Tua. He's back, and now Achan's awesome again, man.
He would never get it, but I mean, he is that team's MVP.
Oh yeah,
like he would never get the league MVP, but he's the team's MVP.
It's so funny too because everyone's knock on Tua is always, I put anybody in that offense and McDaniels will make it work. Well, no, that's not the case. So we definitely
and he's starting caliber QB maybe.
Yeah,
not Tyler Huntley.
It's just the way Tua processes things, man, is unlike a lot of other people. So he's definitely a great fit in that specific scheme. We got Sean here. What's going on, man? Is Downs a set it and forget it guy with Flacco or still flex territory? We had a question from Albert earlier about Downs or Mooney, and the boys said Downs here, Sean. So it seems like I would say he's in wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 territory.
Wide receiver 3.
I think
it's wide receiver 2. It's wide receiver 2 territory with Josh Downs.
I would feel safer with him as 3, but
I mean, anybody would. But if you're desperate, like he is wide receiver 2 territory, and we'll talk about it later when we get to that game.
All right, but first, the next game we got here is the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. Who really cares about this game, guys?
The Carolina Panthers.
The Saints are favored by 7 points on the road. Game total 43.5. Kendre Miller out. Bub Means out. Marshawn Lattimore out. Kool-Aid McGursky out. Jamal Williams out. But they are getting Derek Carr back, man, so that's nice. Adam Thielen's looking like he's going to be out for the Panthers. Jonathan Brooks not making his debut And they lost their best weapon in Deontay Johnson, who was traded earlier this week to the Baltimore Ravens.
It is.
We
looking
went
like,
right past the Ravens, didn't even bring it up, so I wanted to bring it up here.
It's because that wouldn't be really. I mean, if you're desperate, I guess start him. But if you got better options, like if it's between Waddle and Johnson, I think I'd rather
Johnson.
I think I'd rather go, Johnson. But the snap count is going to be cut back, just like every other wide receiver trade. So, that's a tough one. Well, I don't trust Waddle right now.
Give me your thoughts moving forward, Ike, Deontay Johnson. What does he do to that offense with the Ravens? Does he kind of just hurt? Does he kill Mark Andrews again? Does he take away from Zay Flowers? Is he the number one guy here? What are your thoughts, man?
I think the days of seeing 10 plus targets from Zay Flowers or even the 8 to 10 range is probably gone. Zay Flowers is more of honestly, man, I don't know. They kind of play the same.
I see
none of them are world beaters.
They're
slot type players. So
I see at least 8 targets a game for probably both of them in the future when it comes to Deontay Johnson and Zay Flowers.
But that's 16 throws to them. Plus, you have to get Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely a couple at least.
You don't have to get Mark Andrews involved. No, he's just a red zone target.
I mean, you do have to get him involved because you paid him, and he is still a good player on your team.
You don't have to. We've seen it before. I
don't know, man. And you're a run-first team with Derrick Henry.
Rashad Bateman was emerging-ish. So does he just get
Rashad Bateman's the reason they made the trade.
He's done.
Rashad Bateman's the reason they made the trade.
Because he lost the ball in the sun.
Yeah.
All right, but back to the game, guys.
It's tough.
The Saints Panthers. LaPlante, we'll start with you. Where are you going here with your sweet play?
Apparently, I'm talking a lot of running backs this week, but that's the way fantasy football has been this year. Running backs are scoring more than wide receivers again, just like the old school. And it's Kamara. Kamara is a super sweet play this week. In his career, he has 9 total touchdowns and 1,046 total yards against Carolina in 12 games. So he pretty much smashes Carolina. And then, week 1, he was RB6 against Carolina this year. So we've already got a top 10 finish right there. Carolina is the matchup for running backs, the best matchup, only team allowing 30-plus fantasy points a game to running backs. So smash Kamara in all of your lineups.
Ike, who are you thinking? Are you high on Kamara like he is, or would you rather go with a sweet play like a Chris Olave who's getting his quarterback here in Derek Carr?
Come on. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Chris Olave only because it's a depleted wide receiver core. He is the only guy. So you're not wrong with saying Kamara because I also think he's going to get targeted a bunch too. But I think it's time to start feeling comfortable more with Chris Olave.
I'm just worried the first game back with Derek Carr. That's all, because if it's the first game back, I think it's dump offs to Kamara, and that's why I think he's going to smash, where maybe Olave doesn't get those deep targets like we all want him to have.
I would play Olave too, though. Like I would play Olave over.
Oh yeah, you're playing. Yeah, Olave over Waddle, Olave over Deontay Johnson.
That's what I was wondering.
But it's just don't expect a lot of those deep throws because I'm curious to see how Derek Carr is feeling this first week.
Who are you guys out on in this one?
Say it, Ike. You know you want to. I mean, for me, it's Chuba Hubbard. It's Chuba Hubbard for me. In 2 or 3 games with Bryce Young starting, Hubbard has finished outside the top 24. New Orleans is the 8th best matchup for running backs. Yep. Last 3 weeks he has been 14th in the NFL in touches at 19 a game, so that's ideal.
That's insane.
But
remember when I said he was going to be good coming out of college?
Yeah, but it took a while for him to develop. But here's the thing: the last 3 weeks, he's also got a worse finish each week. He had an RB 18, 23, and then 36 this last week with Bryce Young. So I don't trust. You're starting Hubbard when he's getting 19 touches a game, but don't expect that. A boom week. He's a low end RB2.
I was going to say this is your last week. Probably you can fully trust, or not fully trust him, but trust him starting because Brooks is back.
No, full workload because Brooks is definitely starting this week with the practices he logged.
So fire him up this week, man. It's your last shot.
What's the point? Why are you bringing Jonathan Brooks in? At this point, man, yeah, but I don't know, like, how much is he going to eat into Hubbard's workload?
I have
think
to
we
look at
touched
how
on this
healthy
week,
he
but,
is.
yeah.
Like,
We shall see.
He's coming from an
Yeah.
ACL, right?
Yeah, like Brooks isn't a guy who you've been waiting to. This is why I had an issue with drafting him, because it was always long-term thing here with me. At what point are you going to be comfortable starting him in your lineups?
Not till
With how
next year.
bad, especially if they keep Bryce Young as a starting quarterback. How, like, you can't feel confident in starting Jonathan Brooks at all this year now, right, LaPlante?
Because Jonathan Brooks is a receiving back more so than he is like the downhill runner. And Bryce Young doesn't seem to like to throw to running backs. Like, he doesn't really do anything well. So I think they're going to work him slowly into like third down roles where he'll get a couple of screens here and there in his first few games. It's still going to be Chuba for a while. But once you get in the playoffs, you can't rely on Hubbard really at all, because they're going to want to use the rookie, see what he's got in this already ruined season.
Just looking back at it, LaPlante, was it a waste of a draft pick for Jonathan Brooks at this point?
Absolutely not. The way that, he's a talented guy, man. It's not a waste of a draft pick.
No, not the Panthers, not the Panthers. Fantasy draft pick. Sorry, I should have prefaced that when I said it.
Yeah, that's fair. I still don't think so. Like, it's all a matter of team construction. Like, if teams are lucky enough to be like you two pricks and, sitting well and you're, probably making the playoffs, I'd actually go trade for him, because the way that rookie running backs are, I know, like, it's the thing with Nick Chubb, man. Like, Nick Chubb went right into lineups for the most part, and people didn't, acknowledge that or, listen that he was coming off, an injury. Now, it's not even as bad as Nick Chubb, though.
I'd still take Bigsby over Brooks any day of the week this year.
Not if Etienne's starting.
Still with Etienne there.
No, if it's rest of the season and Etienne's healthy for rest of the season,
Etienne is far less efficient and struggling with injuries. So that's why I like Bigsby more for the rest of the season than Brooks.
No, I disagree.
I like that's a little good. That's a good debate there. That was a good talking point. Yeah,
that's a good one, actually. It is one of those where it's like Bigsby is low enough with Etienne there to where it's like, like LaPlante. Like, if you were me, you probably would do Bigsby for Brooks type trade.
I would.
I can't.
I don't think the person with Brooks,
Bigsby is top 20.
I don't think that the person that's holding on to Brooks would be okay doing that, though, because they've waited this long.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem, is you'd have to give something out, something better for that. But I still prefer Brooks over Bigsby. Next week is starting, because that'll be Brooks' first game.
All right. Let's move it along here. We got Brody here. What's up, Brode? Cooper or Coleman? Ike said he is out on Coleman this week, so I'm assuming we're going to go Amari Cooper here.
Yes.
I mean,
no.
The process says
I didn't want any
Coleman.
of them.
The process says go Coleman. He's the one that's seen 9+ targets back-to-back weeks. I mean, I imagine Cooper's going to be worked more into this offense, but until he is, I'm sitting him for Coleman because he's seeing more targets.
Get the idea.
If this is in our league, I'd like to know who the other receivers are, because, like I said, it's going to be a Josh Allen, James Cook day. Even you said the running backs are going to go off too. So.
I do think so. But the thing is Coleman's seen 9+ targets, and he's getting red zone targets too. So, clearly, Josh Allen is looking towards Coleman more than he's looking towards.
Yeah,
Cooper.
I do like that Coleman's getting more involved, though.
That's what I'm getting at.
I got a trade for here. Just traded Jefferson, Brees, and Jameis for Lamar, Henry, and Evans. Redraft Superflex, other quarterbacks, Daniels, RBs, Pollard, Brooks, Neighbors, Deontay, Waddle, Dell. Should I drop Deontay for D-Hop since I have Lamar and Henry? I would not do that.
No,
I'd stay with Deontay. I'm okay. You don't love having a bunch of players from one team unless they're a good offense. And in this case, you have a good offense.
You couldn't predict that Deontay was going to get traded there, though. So,
exactly. So, yeah.
You just can't drop him.
I like D-Hop a little bit rest of the season, but I'm also not convinced he's going to be a set it and forget it wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 the rest of the year.
If you can't try and
my
trade him,
opinion.
That's what I was gonna say.
personally.
If you don't want
I
that
know,
many Ravens, trade Deontay.
use the trade hype to kind of
Yeah.
polish up that turd and trade him away.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brody said, the other option is Pop Douglas here. So we got Pop.
Drake
Mark
May is
Cooper,
probably
and
not
Evan
playing,
Coleman.
so no.
If you're
I'm
starting
going with
two
the
out of
Planet
the
Coleman. Even though I don't
you
like
have-
him, I'm going Coleman.
if you have to start two out of those three receivers, Cooper, Coleman, and Pop Douglas, I'm starting both Bills receivers over Douglas.
God, that sucks.
I mean, it sucks, but I do it.
Is there a better receiver on the waiver wire?
Not really.
I doubt it. I doubt it here. Next game, guys, we got it. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Raiders +7 on the road. Game total of 45.5. Sabir White questionable in this one. You got Zach Moss, who has rolled out. T. Higgins.
I don't know why you bring up
is-
Zamir White anymore. He's questionable to be on rosters.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I
What a
think
shame,
we
man.
said, I think we said 3 or 4 weeks ago that he was was doubtful here. T. Higgins also doubtful here. Come on, man. Come on. It's not going to
Business
happen
decision.
for T. Higgins this year. Yeah, I get it.
Do you think
totally
he's
get it.
like he's probably hurt, but he's not willing to risk more
Yeah,
injury because
100%.
he has no contract or anything? So I get it.
That's what business decision means.
Although that's why I like Jamar Chase more. He's a dog, man. He's going out there balling every week.
Pay me. I like that.
I'll
after
show
his
you why you
touchdown.
should pay me.
I like that a lot. He's wide receiver 1 right now too. You had him
Weird.
as your wide receiver 1, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have many good calls, man, but that was a good one.
I just told you I was right on Chuba Hubbard actually being a good running back.
It's only 8 weeks in. Calm down.
Yeah, 4 years later, you're right on Chuba Hubbard, but I'll give you your flowers, man. Nice job on that.
Thank you.
We'll stick it here with you. Who's your sweet player out of this Raiders Bengals matchup?
It's Jacoby Myers. This is an easy one. Bengals are brutal. Bengals are brutal against the pass, and Jacoby Myers scored a touchdown last week in his first game back in a couple weeks against the Chiefs. When he's been healthy, he's had 7+ targets in 4 straight games. I like him. He's a good wide receiver 3 flex option this week. So
You like him?
yeah,
I like him. I feel like he's trying to put some good juju out into the atmosphere because he's playing him against me.
It's him and Bowers in that offense, and nobody.
Yeah,
else, so.
everybody knows to play Bowers now. He's going to be tight end 1.
That's what
or
Brody
2.
just said. Take the low hanging fruit, LaPlante, and take Brock Bowers here. Tell everybody to start the tight end one.
I
Who
will
you
not.
going here?
I will
He's
not.
going
be
to say
taking
my
him.
guy because he wants reverse juju.
No, it's someone that Dylan's going to be proud of. Chase Brown. Zach Moss is doubtful. All right, Chase Brown's going to assume. Yep, Chase Brown's going to assume the majority of the workload here. Las Vegas is the 9th best matchup for running backs. They've given up the 5th most receptions to running backs with 40 through 8 games. Chase Brown, that's his shtick. He likes to get the passes in the receiving game. Last 3 weeks, he's actually taken over, getting 14 touches a game to Moss's 8 touches a game. So you do the math with Moss out. He's probably going to get around 22 touches a game for Chase Brown. I mean, wowzers. He's probably going to be an RB1 this week.
Wowzers.
Wowzers.
Yeah, the next guy up is Travion Williams. Who really cares? I'm with you, man.
He played last year a little bit. He's not good.
Yeah, and I watched all of Chase Brown's college career and the last year with Illinois. I'm pretty sure he saw 360 carries that year in 12 games, so he can handle a workload. So I'm with you, Mike. I think he is the set it and forget it guy in that backfield, and he is locked into lineups this weekend here against the Raiders in an absolute smash spot. I love that call. And go Illini tomorrow. Myself and Ike will be attending the Illini Minnesota game. Hopefully a big bounce back win for them. They could use it after getting shellacked by the #1 team in the country last week.
Which everybody expected.
Yeah.
The win against Michigan was so huge for them that the Oregon one was just expected. It's like, all right, we can take this loss. We just have to go get the rest.
Yeah. Gotta win tomorrow. But anyways, Mike, I'll kick it to you, man. Who's your sour play? Who you out on here? Don't give me Zamir White.
No, this one's a little spicy. And you can come at me is what it is, but I'm making a judgment call. It's a gut call here. It's Jamar Chase. It's your wide receiver one. It's my sour play. You're obviously starting him. Don't hear what I'm not saying. You're not benching Jamar Chase. But hear what I am saying. In 3 games without T. Higgins, Chase has finished as the wide receiver 28, 46, and last week he finished as the wide receiver 8. But did you know that wide receiver 8 finish consisted of 9 receptions for 54 yards, and the touchdown saved the day. So
I mean, 9, that's still not bad, but not great for Jamar Chase.
Exactly my point, and that was without T. Higgins. Raiders are the 8th toughest matchup for wide receivers. So, like, I know you guys probably, I know you're starting Jamar Chase. Like I said, don't sit him. But when Jamar Chase doesn't have T. Higgins opposite, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase seem to struggle a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, you're relying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to push back on what you said, but you can't sit him, so I don't really know what to say about that.
No, you can't sit him. No. It's just I don't think he's going to have that wide receiver 8 finish unless he scores a touchdown, which he absolutely can. But if he doesn't score a touchdown, that 9 for 54, I mean, that is 14 points. That's not a wide receiver, 1 finish. That's, and that's not going to keep him in the wide receiver 1 position.
Yeah, I hear that. But if they score 4
Yeah,
touchdowns,
especially when CD's catching 13 balls and 2 touchdowns for no apparent reason.
I just questioned it because the game total is 45.5. So if Cincinnati scores 4 touchdowns, I feel like it's hard to believe Chase isn't catching one of those.
They can just, they can just run it down their throats. Is kind of what I'm getting at. If they want to steal a win when it comes to the Raiders, like they may not need Chase if that's the case.
All right, what do you got here, Ike?
I don't like they said Chase, but I can get behind it. I was also thinking,
come on.
I was also thinking maybe Joe Burrow too. He's been struggling lately. With, like he said, without Higgins, he's not the most elite quarterback right now. This offense is just kind of weird right now. It's hard to trust him, but you're obviously
it sucks without T. Higgins.
I mean, it's not elite. I'll go with that. I wouldn't say it sucks. Like I'd still say their offense is probably better than the Chiefs, maybe.
Offense, yeah, sure.
Even without Higgins, I would say probably.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair to say, man. The Chiefs have survived by their elite defense this year. And Mahomes just makes enough plays to win the game. That's kind of what it is for the Chiefs.
The talkheads on like FS1 say when the 4th quarter hits, no matter what Mahomes does, the first 3 quarters, he can throw 2 picks. When that 4th quarter comes around and it's close, he'll win you the game. Like we saw 2 weeks ago where he trucked over the brick shithouse dude.
Best we've ever seen. Man.
Yeah.
Best we've ever seen.
No.
Stop. Next game we got here. We got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Cleveland Browns. Chargers favored by 1 on the road here. Vegas giving a little bit of love towards Jameis here, making them only underdog by 1 point. Game total 42.5. LaPlante, we'll let you start here. Who is
I'm happy.
Sweet or sour play, whatever you want.
Exactly. I'm happy because I'm starting out with the sour pick on this one on purpose. J.K. Dobbins is my sour play. Again, this is a guy you're starting. He's getting 22 touches a game the last 3 weeks, so you're starting that. You are. But just temper your expectations. Browns are the 4th toughest matchup for running backs this year just because it's a lot easier to throw on them than it is to run on them. They're the 6th best matchup for wide receivers. So, we're looking at another week here where he's going to finish probably around that 24 to 28 range like he did week 7 against Arizona. So he's my sour pick.
I like to call Mike. I actually am sitting him. I got some other better options here this week. I've watched a lot of their last 2 games, and the explosive plays we saw from JK the first couple weeks of the season are not there any longer. The offensive line seems to be struggling a little bit now, and it's been a couple
injuries.
of good matchups the past 2 weeks as well. And then he goes into a bad matchup here. So yeah, I'm with you, Mike. If you can sit him, I think that's a good idea. Like I was able to start David Montgomery, Tony Pollard, and Brian Robinson over him. Are you guys good with those three over him this week as well?
Yeah.
Or would you? Okay. No, that's fair there. Ike, where are you going here? Why don't you just stick with the sour theme?
I know people are going to want to play him after last week, but don't play Jameis Winston. Chargers have only allowed 6 touchdowns on the year, and they've gotten 6 interceptions.
Way to be a party pooper. I want to play Jameis.
It's hard I don't know what Harbaugh did to this defense, but he's turned it into actually a pretty good defense and can hold up most quarterbacks. They did pretty good against Mahomes. Pretty sure they've been as the defense been above 10 plus points for fantasy. So that's good. And plus Jameis Winston likes to turn the ball over. You'll always see that at some point, and this could be the game.
They're healthy, Ike. I think that's what it comes down to it. You got a healthy Khalil Mack who can still get it done. You got a healthy Joey Bosa for once. You got Derwin James in the secondary, and good
Harbaugh
coaching.
just knows how to coach, man.
Yes, absolutely. He gets the most out of his players, even though he's a goofy son of a gun. It is what it is. Players respond to him. But yeah, he's done a good job, and none of these games are appealing to watch, but he's just there to win football games, and that's what I'm not saying that's what they're doing. They're okay. They're an okay team.
Yeah. They need some help on if they had like a star defenseman too, like other than Derwin James, they'd be even more elite, and then they need another pass catcher probably.
How about a playmaker? They don't have one.
That'll lead me into my sweet play.
Okay.
I like Ladd McConkey. I think he's their de facto playmaker now. I mean, he's not a great playmaker, but he's still someone that
good though.
I like him. He did make a play last week. So.
He's good enough to be my sweet player this week.
Hey, hell yeah. 6+ targets in 6 of his 7 games. That's pretty good for a rookie. And in his last 3, he has 7+ targets. He was wide receiver 2 last week, I think, or something like that.
I wish you had the target share because it's not like they're chucking it all over the place either. So
it has to be.
Well, no, that's, I mean, au contraire, mon amer, you know what I mean? Because
the last 2 weeks they have.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks, it's kind of been through a little bit of an offensive, 180 because they're 4th in passing attempts the last 3 games and
they can't run it, man. It's really struggling.
Exactly. I mean, Ladd McConkey, he should be getting more of a pie after his wide receiver 2 finish, just like you said last week, Ike. But he is at the moment, until he gets that volume, he is touchdown dependent because when he's not getting a touchdown, he is finishing outside the top 40.
I just like his targets a lot. He needs, like we said,
he's efficient. Yeah, he's efficient, but I expect more volume to go to him after what he did last week. So that's why he's my sweet play in a great matchup. Like I said, the Browns are the 6th best matchup for wide receivers. So give me Lamb.
I would love to see him start hitting 8 targets. That'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys looking to sell J.K. Dobbins? Or are you just kind of staying pat and just riding him as your RB2 and just taking him for what he is? Because he's got a solid floor, man. But I don't know if the ceiling games are coming like they were earlier in the season.
I'm not selling him for pennies on the dollar because when it comes to fantasy football, you need running back depth, especially with the injuries coming on, going for a playoff push. But at the same time, you got some
guys coming up too. You can't trade him right now.
If you needed a wide receiver, would you trade J.K. Dobbins for Darnell Mooney?
Nope.
No.
If I'm trading J.K. Dobbins for a wide receiver, it's got to be.
What about J.K. Dobbins if you need a wide receiver? You go Joshua Downs.
I knew you were going to go that day because that was the question earlier. I would do. I don't think the guy with Josh Downs is going to make that trade though, but I would do it.
Wow, look at the stat Jamie just put in here too. That's kind of a little bit mind-boggling. Dobbins' first 2 games averaged 135 scrimmage yards at 59 or 52.9 snap rate. It's dropped to 70 yards per game and a 72.3% snap rate. Yeah, the more work he's gotten, the efficiencies went down, and you kind of just see it.
That's always been Dobbins' thing. He's gave me 10, 12 carries and let me just bust one out randomly.
Do we see more Kamani Vidal now that Dobbins?
No.
Anybody know when the bye week is?
It's after the bye week. We'll probably.
They've already had the bye. They've already
had.
Have they really?
Then usually you'd think Vidal would be going by now, so no. I think it's
I'm
a
not trusting
damage
my
going
Jamie
to
just
Edwards.
said he's stashing Vidal, but yeah, they already had their.
But the thing is like Gus. Once Gus Edwards comes back, I don't think Vidal is in the mix.
It depends though. Maybe
We'll
he's gonna
see.
make
We'll
now.
see
Maybe
how
Gus-
Edwards
maybe,
does.
Yeah, maybe Gus is just toast. I kind of hope not, but yeah, definitely interesting, Jamie.
I mean,
don't
I
mind
wouldn't be surprised
Vidal
if
as a stash.
Ravens ran him to the ground last year.
Yeah,
In the red zone, at least.
Hopefully, I can run you to the ground in fantasy this week.
I'm due a loss, man, so I
I
won't be
like it.
surprised.
I like it. We got next game, the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants, battle of the NFC East. We already saw this matchup one time this year, and the almighty Jaden Daniels led the Commanders to 7 field goals.
I'm glad you acknowledged his almightiness.
Commanders favored by 4 on the road, game total of 44 in this one. The biggest injury here is Greg Joseph, man, out for the Giants. Who the hell's kicking for him? I don't have it pulled up. Their punter's actually on the injury report as well, and I think he's out. What the heck? What's going on here with this Giants squad?
They signed a guy to their practice squad as a kicker, but I can't remember. It was a no-name guy. But yeah,
Right.
That is what it is.
Right on, and then
It's
for
a
the
struggle
Commanders-
because last game there was a lot of field goals in between these two.
yeah,
So
right.
we're gonna need a
Absolutely.
kicker.
Brian Robinson, questionable with that pesky hamstring injury he's dealing with. Gonna play though. LaPlante, you're talking. We'll go ahead and stick with you here. Give me your sweet play.
My sweet play is Brian Robinson. New York is the 13th best matchup for running backs. Did you know Robinson's best rushing game of the year was week 2 against these Giants with
Yeah, I was
133
gonna say
rushing
that when
yards?
you were done that he smashed them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean he's only had 2 games of over 100 plus rushing yards this season, and one of them was against the Giants. So in that week he was RB21 with no touchdowns. All right, so he's guaranteed, I think, an RB2 floor right now, and if he scores a touchdown, he's a top 12 RB. It's that simple.
Like, you doubling down on Brian Robinson, or are you going elsewhere here?
I am doubling down because, weirdly, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the Giants lead the league in sacks, which is weird to say. But that means Jane Daniels. It doesn't.
Is it weird to say?
Jane Daniels might be under pressure a little bit more than he's used to, and they'll probably go into the game or into the week with a game plan of going with Brian Robinson, keeping it on the ground and stuff like that. So that's why I go Brian Robinson too. I originally was going to say Terry McLaurin because he's had 3 straight 15-plus fantasy point games, even against that great Bears defense. So,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure there was a stat last week where he's had a certain amount of games in a row where he's had a 50-yard catch or 50 yards or something like that, and he got another one against the Bears. So
Whoever told me earlier in the season that McLaurin wasn't moving around lied to me, because he was never matched up last week. I hated it. The bomb he catches on Tyreek stupid Stevenson is like
weird.
Man, yeah, it was something. That was a bad call by me, I guess. I was sitting Terry McLaurin everywhere if I could, and he still blew up for 130 yards receiving, whatever it was. Not in Jalen Johnson's coverage, but Mike, go ahead. What do you got here?
My sour pick here, which, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, Dylan, because you like to do that. I'm not sour on him for the rest of the season, but this game, it's Jaden Daniels. In all of his games this year that he's been healthy, because he had the one game where he exited with the rib injury, he has been a top 12 QB, except one game against the Giants in week 2. He finished his
when
QB
they didn't
18.
score a touchdown. Yeah.
When they didn't
How many
need him.
times he got sacked?
They really didn't need him. And I wonder if the sacks played into it as well.
Yeah, check
So,
real
like,
quick.
this
Week
is a
2?
week where, if I got the decision between Bo Nix and Jane Daniels, I'm starting Bo Nix.
No, you don't have the balls to do that.
I
I
would
do.
start Bo Nix over him.
I've seen him, man. Your balls ain't big enough to do that. I'm just kidding.
I started Puka last week when you weren't ballsy enough to do it.
Oh, that's totally
Yeah,
fine.
if you started him, you probably would have won.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Have some balls. Have some huevos.
You're not starting Bo Nix over him, man. I don't
I
believe
would start
it.
Bo Nix over Jane Daniels.
We got a question here since nobody mentioned, probably because I didn't mention it.
Jaden Daniels sacked 5 times in that game.
And the Commanders are out Cornelius Lucas, one of their offensive tackles. So
God damn it, Cornelius.
We didn't mention Tyrone Tracy, who is cleared concussion protocol now, will play in this one. So would we go
This
Ramondre
one's so
Stevenson
easy.
or Tyrone Tracy half-point PPR?
Stevenson.
It's Stevenson by a mile.
We're
I wouldn't say by a mile, but with off of the concussion.
Stevenson, I'll talk about him later, but he's been good, man.
Game. It's the next game. Yeah. So
he's been kind of boom or bust.
Who's your star play here, Ike?
Who are you on again? Commanders, Giants? Oh, it's Jane Daniels.
Right on. Doubling down on it. Are you starting Jaden Daniel or Bo Nix over Jaden Daniels or no?
100 times over, yeah.
Use your brain.
Whoa. All right, guys. We got the New England Patriots taking on the Tennessee Titans. Patriots plus 3.5 taking yeah, that surprises me. Patriots off a win. Titans favored by 3.5 with Mason Rudolph as their quarterbacks. Pretty interesting here. Game total 38. Drake May questionable here. Not likely he's going to suit up, I'd say. Tajay Spears for the Titans was ruled out as well. L'Jarius Sneed also out in this one. Will Levis questionable. Tyler Boyd questionable as well. Ike, we'll go to you here. Who is your sweet play in this Patriots Titans matchup, and why is it Ramondre Stevenson?
It is Stevenson because in 2 of his past 3 games, he has been an RB1, top 12 running back. So, in the one game he wasn't.
Sorry, I meant to mute myself. I muted him. I muted him.
Oh my god.
And plus his snaps are finally, it seems like he's out of the doghouse. His snaps are up to 80%. So I like to see that. He's the number 1 running back in the offense. They're going to have to rely on him if they want to win this game.
I mean, you did say the last 2 of his 3 games, he was a top 5 running back, right?
Top 12.
That's correct. Did you ignore that 3rd game, though, where he finished as RB 44?
That's why I think he got injured or he was doghoused. I don't remember.
Well, how about the game before his, streak of top 10 finishes where he was RB 37? Like, that's what I mean by he's boom or bust. He's boom or bust is what I'm getting at.
If you noticed, his snaps were pretty low. It finally reached into the 80% again. So he's out of the doghouse. He's going to get
He's out of the doghouse.
He is.
He's not fumbling as much anymore. He's healthy off that foot injury, whatever he had a couple weeks ago.
You fumble by football, you run a mile.
Yeah.
Drop ball, you run a mile.
Hopefully a guy that doesn't drop the football this week in this matchup, is Tony Pollard because he's my sweet play. New England's the 3rd best matchup for running backs, 28 points per game allowed to RBs. He is 9th in the NFL in touches a game at 19.3. He does not have a finish in the top 10 this year, believe it or not.
He's going to this week.
Yes, he's going to this week. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Every good matchup, he stinks. Packers, decent matchup. 5 fans.
Dylan, Tajay Spears isn't the thing apparently in this offense.
But no. But he's out. Let him go on with these matchups. Go with
Buffalo,
the second matchup.
Buffalo, best matchup possible. 8 fantasy points. Man, every time he's got a juicy man.
Okay, so those
that's the Will Levis, man.
He's okay those good against the Colts. Go ahead, Mike.
Because those 2 matchup against the Packers and the Bills, they got down so fast, they abandoned the run, and they just started throwing the ball. That's why. And this is not a game where they're going to abandon the run against the New England Patriots because they're not going to get down big to them.
Dude, both running backs are going to get 20-plus touches. It's pretty much guaranteed to happen.
What was
38.
Yeah, exactly. Even Vegas thinks this is going to be a slow game.
Yeah,
fast pace.
Well, fast,
running,
fast pace.
Game.
Like
I get what you're saying.
Like, yeah, I got it.
Slow to watch. Watching paint dry.
Who are your guys? Who are you out in this matchup?
I'll go a little spicy again here, only because he's coming off a good week, and it's Calvin Ridley. He did see 15 targets last week, 2nd behind only CD Lamb. But here's the thing. I don't even think 20 targets will turn into what he had last week in a wide receiver 5 finish if he's got Will Levis throwing him the ball. That's the thing. If it's Mason Rudolph, all right, he's not my sour pick. But if it's Will Levis playing, he's my sour pick.
Agreed.
I don't think Levis is going to play here. I think it's Mason Rudolph. So I think Ridley's going to be okay again. It's just, I heard some wild stat of his uncatchable pass rate with Levis and how much better it has been with Mason Rudolph. So I'm kind of with you. If Rudolph plays, I think you're okay starting Ridley again. Even though he's going to get shadowed by Christian Gonzalez, but I'm still okay with it. But yeah, we'll go into the afternoon games. We got the Chicago Bears taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Bears underdog by 1.5 on the road here. Game total of 44.5. Bears are still without Jaquan Brisker, who's dealing with concussion-like symptoms. Like, that's not good. This is the 3rd week in concussion protocol. After they allowed him to come back in the same game, after they allowed him to come back in that game the same week, Josh Allen wasn't knocked out cold, even though we saw him laying there.
Stop bringing it
up. Bears are also out. They're starting left tackle and their backup left tackle. So I'm honestly not sure what they're doing with the offensive line this week. So that worries me about Caleb Williams this week. Not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna kick it to you, Ike, to start. Who is your sour or sweet play? I'll let you take it away.
It's one of the best matchups Caleb's going to have he's got a pretty daunting schedule coming up. Cardinals do struggle against quarterbacks. Caleb has done pretty well the past few weeks, other than last week. We all know how bad he was there. But
which was a great matchup.
The previous 2 weeks, he was pretty solid. So I'm going to go with Caleb. I think he's going to have a bounce-back game against these Cardinals. And honestly, there's not much to love about either offenses. So I'm going to go with the rookie.
I hear you. I honestly don't know what to think about Caleb as a fantasy quarterback because he's still giving you clunkers like what he did last week, just out of nowhere, where the offense just looked totally.
But if he's on,
I agree.
He's going to do a top 5 finish.
And it's all totally not on him. Shane Waldron hasn't helped him at times this season. So far, I've been wrong about that hire. But yeah, I don't know. Well, Plan, are you doubling down on Caleb or are you going somewhere else?
I don't know. Am I not doubling down on Caleb? My sweet player here is James Conner. As you guys know, it's just easier to run on the Bears than it is to pass on them. That Hail Mary, without that Hail Mary, Jane Daniels would have probably had another finish out of the top.
Don't
12.
say that word to me, man.
I'm not
trying to be shifty to beat the Bears defense on the run, like a Tony Pollard.
The Bears have been better. The Bears have been better against running backs the last couple weeks too. Like Brian Robinson didn't do a damn thing.
They have.
Not shifty.
But it's just
weird.
It's easier to run on the Bears than it is to pass. That's the second toughest matchup for QBs. And he is getting 15 touches, a game. He's 15th in the NFL with 18 touches a game. So I think it's one of those situations because QBs tend to struggle if they get in the red zone. They're just going to hand it off to James Conner, which leads me to my sour play, which is Kyler Murray. Now, hindsight is 2020. It is what it is. But I made the call to start in one of my super flex leagues because I have Jalen Hurts. He's an automatic start. I started CJ Stroud over Kyler Murray because of the matchup. Now, like I said, hindsight, but that's how I feel about this matchup for Kyler Murray is what I'm getting at. Is I feel like
I think he can bust out a run. That's one thing.
That's what's going to save him. But if he doesn't get that, it's going to be a rough week. He's going to be pizzaing when you need to French fry. It's going to be a rough time.
I was going to say it could be a rough week for Marvin Harrison Jr. too as well.
Come on. Kyler Murray had never won 2 games in a row till last week. You really think he's going to win a 3rd game in a row?
That's kind of wild, actually.
Another quick little stat is 4 out of the 8 games. So he's 50-50. He's a flip of a coin. 4 out of 8 games, he's finished under 20 points, and the other 4, he's over 20 points. So it's kind of boom bust a little bit with him.
Yeah, I hear you. If you have a better option here than Kyler, which you probably don't, I'm
Oh,
all right. sitting
CJ
over
Stroud,
this matchup.
wasn't the greatest option. I understand that. Like I said, hindsight, but at the same time, that's just how I felt about this matchup for Kyler.
I get it. Yeah. All right.
I put.
Go
Man,
ahead, Ike.
would you play Bo Nix over Kyler?
I
think
already
would.
told you my balls aren't big enough.
That's one where you need balls right there. But the thing is Bo Nix is running more than Kyler Murray the last 3 weeks, so I would.
I feel like
he's got a good matchup. He's got a good matchup against the air, so I think I would, man. I'd take some big balls though.
Granted, I literally have Kyler anywhere on my team, so
I don't think I do either, except a couple best ball shares of him, which is I feel like is pretty good so far. Because he's had some boom weeks, but he's had some bad weeks. So, like you alluded to, LaPlante. Next game we got. JB just said he just dropped Bo Nix's QB9 and Murray at QB14 for him this week. So we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. Probably the best matchup on the slate, I would say. Jordan Love trending in the right direction too. Which I wonder if that's going to make this line shift or not, because the Lions are favored by 3 on the road here. Game total of 47.5. Michael Plant,
it should probably drop to 1
from Vegas to the Packers. I was going to say Packers should probably be favored by 1, if I'm being honest with you. That's probably what
I don't know if they're saying Love should play, but I think they're factoring that maybe he doesn't play the full game because he re-injures himself or something.
Yeah, that's kind of why.
Plus, Goff rolled up his ankle too, so I mean, it should be either 1 for the Packers or 1 for the Lions.
Yeah, that line definitely needs to move, and it probably will as we get closer to kickoff, I would assume. LaPlante, we'll let you start here since this is your team. Where are you gonna go here as your sweet play out of this NFC North rivalry matchup?
Unfortunately, it's not from my team. It's Sam Laporta's my sweet play in this one. At least for one more week, Sam Laporta is a lock for a top 10 tight end. He saw a season high 6 targets last week, and he also had a season high in fantasy points with 16.8 without JMO. So give me Laporta again and probably a closer matchup.
Yeah. Hopefully this keeps going for Sam Laporta rest of the season, even if
I don't know. Once JMO comes back.
Is he coming back though, man? Because he can't stop doing stupid stuff. He can't stop doing
that.
Did you see the other stuff that happened this week, Mike?
I don't want to talk about. You don't want to talk about the Hail Mary? I don't want to talk about that.
All right. I got PTSD from Hail Mary. You got it from Jameson Williams. So Ike, I'll kick it to you.
A lot of shares in JMO.
Play.
It's Dave Montgomery. He just loves to destroy the Packers. We know that when he was with the Bears, and he's continued it with the Lions. He's averaging 20 fantasy points per game against them. Just put him in your lineup every week now, man. It's one of those things where both running backs are the guy. Yeah. Dude, people are still wondering if they should start David Montgomery, so that's not low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. No, we get questions about David Montgomery on the Sunday. Every Sunday, Mike, you're there.
Every Sunday we're seeing David.
We get David Montgomery questions.
And the answer is David.
I agree.
I'm telling you, this is why.
He's telling the people. He's speaking to the people.
You should do it on Sundays, not pick the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, he does. Come on, man. Come on. Ike, who's your sour play here? Who are you going? Josh Jacobs? Joshy?
Josh Jacobs might have to be relied on a lot. I mean,
matchup.
He's my sour pick. I'll go for you.
I was going to say, like, Christian Watson could, like, you probably shouldn't be putting him in. Jayden Reed might not be the best idea. He's struggling a little bit too lately. Basically, all the wide receivers aren't doing great. Romeo Doubs is the one that's
all you have to do, we see it time and time again. Throw a hissy fit. You're a wide receiver, throw a hissy fit.
Yeah, dude. He got the Madden.
Jayden Reed freak out. Get mad, tell him.
Yeah.
Go into LaFleur's office, pound on his desk,
what's going on there.
Targets.
We know Christian Watson is probably the 3rd or 4th option now. He's probably behind Tucker Kraft. So it's Jayden Reed needs to get, like Dylan said, into that room and give him some targets, man. That's your star guy.
Use your tempo. Get mad. Get mad.
Full of Romeo Doubs.
Yep, absolutely. Mike, who you got here? Who's your well, he already said Josh Jacobs, but why are you out on Joshy this week?
Like you alluded to, it's this, second toughest matchup for running backs. He's only had 2 top 12 finishes on the year, and I just don't think this will be one of those weeks. He's a low end RB2. But he's getting 20.3 touches a game. That's 6 in the NFL. So like, this is a guy you're starting, just temper your expectations. He's a low end RB2. That's it.
If only someone told you that Josh Jacobs was not going to be a top 12 running back.
I mean, we didn't
There were
have
a lot
that
of people
expectation.
actually. Some of us did.
It was fringe. It was fringe, top 12. That was the thing with them.
Yeah.
We knew that the Packers split the workload, but it's shocking to see.
I didn't think Lloyd would get as much as he's gotten so far early in the season. So that just sucks for Jacobs.
20 touches a game is still pretty good.
Yeah, he just sucks, man. He's inefficient.
You suck. He doesn't suck.
Well, I've never ran the football in an NFL game, so I do suck.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen you run that for sure. The next game we got here,
4.8 yards a carry the last 3 games. You suck.
What is he on the season? 4?
Oh my gosh, I hate you because you're gonna make me look. Go to the next game, Dylan. Okay.
Los Angeles Rams take it on the Seattle
4.6.
Seahawks. I was gonna say you're just gonna interrupt me. What's the point? The Rams are favored by 1.
It's more fun to interrupt you.
Yeah, Rams are favored by 1 on the road in Seattle. It's a little it's weird.
Seattle's been playing bad.
What's going on here? Is that really all it is?
Rams, I mean,
and they're also without DK Metcalf.
They got their weapons back besides Puka, maybe.
No, Puka's not coming back.
Yeah, man.
Re-injured a knee? No,
he's back. He'll be fine. Sean McVay said today he wouldn't bet against it that Puka's going to play, but I definitely didn't love hearing that.
I would definitely bet.
As a Puka
especially
owner,
since
man,
you said that.
I've waited my turn. He's supposed to be good to go now. Ramp it up. Let's go. Come on, Puka. But yeah, I'll let you go ahead, Ike. Who are you going with here? Who's your sweet play in this Rams Seahawks matchup?
I like Stafford. I think he's going to be one of the top 12 quarterbacks this week. He seems to play decently well against the Seahawks, and plus Seahawks love to throw. So that means the Rams might have to also throw too, which could be maybe the shootout of the week, to be honest. This really could be. I like to see Puka play. That way it helps Stafford out more, but it could just be a Cooper Kupp just 15, 20 target game.
Don't forget about Kyron Williams.
Kyron, everybody knows to start him.
Yeah, I know, but he's
scored every week
exactly.
Every week
this
year.
He's my sweet play.
That is
always my sweet play in a Rams matchup. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, no, I thought that's my one worry about, like I said earlier, that I picked Stafford up this week, and I'm going to be starting him as Kyron vultures the touchdowns.
But Kyron can catch a receiving touchdown like he did last week.
I agree.
Yeah, he can definitely catch a receiving touchdown.
But the Seahawks have been beaten up on the ground this year, so once they get in the red zone, that's my worry. But Mike, take it away.
No, I mean, he's second in the league in touches, only behind Mixon. And Mixon's at 23.3, Kyron's at 22.6. Man's guaranteed a touchdown. He's got 10 touchdowns in 8 games, only behind Derrick Henry, who has a total of 11 touchdowns. So this guy is he's a guaranteed lock in your lineup, and he's probably going to win you a week if you have him.
Yes, he may. Who's your sour play?
My sour play is Geno Smith, and he is one of those guys that is a streaming QB. You could probably put him in the lineup. Just because of the volume alone through 8 weeks, he leads all QBs in passing attempts. But like I said earlier, he has been struggling. He's down DK Metcalf. So, I mean, if you got a better option like Bo Nix, I'd be starting Bo Nix over Geno Smith. But he's one of those fringe, streaming QBs that you can get away with if you're desperate.
That's tough, man, because the Rams have been beaten up at times by opposing QBs. So if you're not starting Geno here,
you can't start him. Because without DK,
we're not having DK.
And plus, in 2 of his past 3 games, he's been lower than a quarterback 12. It's been quarterback 19, 12, and 29. So clearly he misses the big play threat of DK because Tyler Lockett is a slot guy. He won't get you yards after the catch. JSN's not getting you yards after the catch too because I'm not really sure what's going on with him right now. And they're probably going to rely more on Kenneth Walker without the weapon of DK.
I'm assuming he is your sour play too, like.
Yeah.
All right. And I was a bad host. I should have went to these before we went to the game here. We got Swift or Josh Jacobs, half PPR.
Swift. Swift isn't doing much in the passing game. He is doing a lot of his points in running the ball. So that's what I'm going with, half PPR. You don't have to worry about.
I kind of want to go Jacobs here
so
still,
much.
if I'm being honest with you. I think that's where I'm going to lean. Go ahead, LaPlante. You're muted.
I said Swift. Jacobs is the volume play, but I just think Swift gets enough volume with a better matchup that he scores more points.
Plus, Dylan, like you said, tough matchup for Jacobs.
Yep. Montgomery or Bijan?
Bijan.
This one's easy. That's Bijan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with this, decision,
I'd take Montgomery over the previous two.
Swift and Jacobs, agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you there.
There's another one, Dylan. Laporta or Pitts? By Jamie. I don't know if we did that one.
No, we did not.
This one's Pitts. Even though I love Laporta, he's a locked-in top 10 tight end. This week, Pitts is pretty much a guaranteed top 6 tight end.
Yeah, I'm going Pitts, too.
I'm going to go Laporta here. We could have a Pitts clunker here. Since we're all back.
You're just mad because you didn't draft him this year. It's Pitts season, man.
I'm not mad at it at all. He's going to give us a clunker here soon. He's going to give us a clunker. Next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jags getting 7.5 on the road. Game total 45.5. Man, the Jags are banged up. No Christian Kirk. Brian Thomas Jr. is questionable as well with a chest injury. Gabe Davis, shoulder injury, questionable. Travis Etienne, hamstring, questionable. Tank Bigsby, ankle, questionable. That's pretty much their whole offense. I feel like it just said. Dallas Goedert out for the Eagles.
And they traded Cam Robinson, their left tackle.
As well. They did. They've kind of just they've punted the season now, guys. Which is surprising that Doug Peterson's still the head coach, but what are you going to do? No, Joe. I'm not, no love for that comment.
Dylan's salty.
I am. And I'm going to be salty for quite some time, I think. But I'll let you take this one away here. Who do you like? Who do you hate? I don't care. Go with what you feel here.
I'll go with my loved one, and you kind of alluded to it with all the injuries. The only one you didn't mention was Evan Ingram. He's pretty much last man standing here because Gabe Davis might not even play. He's had Evan Ingram's had one game of 10 plus targets on the year, and he finished his tight end 3 against your Bears. So what is he going to see? Like 15 targets now? Like he is like a top 5 tight end with the amount of volume he's going to see.
Set it and forget it guy this week. Evan Ingram is like he is most weeks, but I agree with you. Definitely firing him up here. Ike, you got any pushback there, or where are you going to go?
No, I agree with that too. I was going to say Jalen Hurts should be
like
a top 5 quarterback as well.
It's the type of week where Evan Ingram, if you for some reason, like people in our league, drafted 2 tight ends and you had like, let's say Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram, I would potentially be starting Evan Ingram in the flex over here.
Or like Brock Bowers and Evan Ingram. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I was just going to say that because that's what Brody did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Brody's in a specific situation where he's hit with injuries and whatnot. So yes, that's the option to go. But I'm saying though, if you had another tight end for some reason like Kyle Pitts, and you were going through some issues, man, Evan Ingram's a solid like flex play over other options this week.
No, I was asking you, who would you rather go, Evan Ingram or Brock Bowers this week?
Oh, man. I'd probably go.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Bowers. I think he's tight end 1 rest of the season every week.
Dude's going to see 8+ targets every week.
Yeah.
This week I'd go Evan Ingram just because he's literally the number 1 target.
He might be, fair enough.
Where Bowers is going to be dealing with Jacoby Myers. I think Lawrence is still a better QB than Gardner Minshew, so it's just quality of targets as well.
Who's your guys' sour play? And you can't say Trevor Lawrence because nobody's starting him anywhere. That's not allowed to say that. Go somewhere else.
Etienne. If it's Etienne and Bigsby. It's Etienne if he plays.
I was gonna say Bigsby. He says Etienne. So
it's the combination of the two. Philly's the 6th toughest matchup for running backs. You can't trust Etienne. No finishes in the top 20 for running backs this year. And I know you're high on Bigsby, but he gets absolutely no targets.
I agree.
Only five on the year through 5
2 or 3
games
of them were last week, by the way.
as the focal point of this running attack. So like you just can't trust Bigsby, especially if this team's going to be down.
I agree. I was going to say tank because ETN might be back. Even if ETN is back, like LaPlante said, it could be.
You're starting everybody.
It could get away from them very quick. So Bigsby would be nothing. A sneaky start if you're in deep league could be Dearness Johnson. If both are out, that might be something to do.
I don't hate Parker throwing a dart on Parker Washington either. Here as one of the only wide receivers standing for the Jaguars. I don't hate that at all. We'll go ahead and get to the night games here. 2 games left, everybody. We got Sunday Night Football, the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Colts getting 5 points on the road. Game total 46.5. Maybe Vegas isn't in on Smoking Joe Flacco like everyone else seems to be, with the Vikings favored by 5 after back-to-back losses, correct? I believe so.
Yes.
Jump right into it here. I can let you take it away. Give me your sweet play in this Colts-Vikings matchup.
I'm still going Josh Downs. I also like Michael Pittman now that Flacco is there. So once again, Colts wide receivers can be trotted out in your lineup.
Comfortably.
Reserve some, but it's better than having Anthony Richardson out there. So you can start them and feel somewhat safe.
No, I mean, he's right. They're my sweet play, too. In 3 games with Flacco as the QB, Pittman's finished as wide receiver 20, 22, and 28. So it's not what we wanted from Pittman, but that's still usable. Mm-hmm. And then Downs has finished as wide receiver 8, 18, and 14. And that's why I love Downs with Joe Flacco, because he's pretty much a top 20 wide receiver, what we thought Pittman would be. Mm-hmm. And with Minnesota's the best matchup for wide receivers, one of 4 teams allowing 40-plus fantasy points a game. So, like, this is such a better matchup for, Downs, Pittman, Joe Flacco. I mean, maybe even Mo Alley Cox gets a touchdown in there.
I went back because I got the Vikings defense. I've talked them up here a few weeks now, and they've kind of not been good. So I went to look and see how Flacco's been in his career against the blitz, and it was literally no help. Sometimes he's good against the blitz, sometimes he's awful against the blitz. There's no in between. I'm like, come on.
Flacco's an enigma.
So I have no feel for what's going to happen in this game. I really don't. If Flacco could throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns, wouldn't be surprised. I could also see him get sacked 5 times and throw 2 interceptions. So it really is a coin flip here for me, but Ike, who's your sour play here? What do you got?
Hold on, give me a second. I want to see what his past few games were.
Who's your sour play?
It's Jonathan Taylor. I'm going on a limb here. Like, you're starting Jonathan Taylor. You're not sitting him, like I said, but this is somebody you're going to temper your expectations on because, like Dylan said, this is exotic blitzes where it's tough to run against them. 9th toughest matchup for running backs. Just easier to throw on them. He's only seen 1 game with Joe Flacco. And he did get 4 targets, which is encouraging.
Encouragement.
But I think this is a week where he's not going to be a top 12 RB. He's going to be like that 15 to 20 range.
All right, right on. Ike, you ready to go now?
Yes. Darnold is no longer a safe top 12 quarterback. So
why do you say that?
His last 3 games.
He's going to tell you.
Last 3
games for the left tackle.
QB 27, 13, and 16. So, I mean, borderline. But before that, he was rocking out top 8 finishes. So people were starting to start him now. I would start him over Geno Smith.
How about your guy, Bo Nix?
No, hell no.
I would start.
And Bo Nix is like quarterback 10, so that shows.
But I would start Sam Darnold over Kyler Murray. I would start him over Geno Smith.
Those aren't even that good though. They're already.
I'd start him
in like 15.
I'd start him over Jared Goff.
No.
I just said I would. Just go ahead.
No.
I just said I would.
He hasn't finished as a quarterback 1 since week 5.
And the left tackle injury. Now they finally got a competent left tackle. It's going to help Sam Darnold.
Who's the competent left tackle?
Cam Robinson.
Who was just lighting it up for Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. Just
Better
killing
team,
it for him, man.
better team, better environment.
Who's your sour play here, Smarty Pants? Oh, you already gave it JT. That's right. My bad. Nice hosting, Dylan. Very nice. All right, well, let's just move on to Monday Night Football here. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Bucks getting 9 points on the road against the Chiefs. Game total 45.5. I'm a little intrigued by that game line there. I kind of want to take the Bucks. Don't think they're going to win.
No, but they should keep it close.
I was going to say, how many points
Chiefs
do you
don't
think
blow
the Chiefs
people
are
out
gonna-
anymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm kind of getting at here. I mean, maybe they win by 10 here to just sneak out, but this game I don't believe is going to be a blowout. So, but anyways.
Doesn't help with the injuries.
Yeah, with no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin here for this offense. But Michael, we'll let you start here. I'm pretty sure Bucky Irvin's questionable once again. He's just a mainstay on the injury report at this point. But Mike, I'll let you take it away. Who is your sweet play in this one?
It's Cade Otton. KC's the best matchup for tight ends. He's had back-to-back weeks of 10 targets now, and back-to-back weeks is finishing as a top 5 tight end. I think it's a third straight week.
Agreed.
Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes here in this one?
Bo.
Nix. Come on, that's such a stupid question now. Dude, go listen to
I'm
Joe's
taking
show where
Patrick Mahomes over Sam Darnold.
I am not. No.
I
Sam
am.
Darnold over Patrick
I
Mahomes.
most certainly am.
I most certainly am.
I'll make him. I mean, you can't throw all over the Buccaneers, man.
I was gonna
The
say,
Chiefs
aren't they
don't
the best possible matchup here?
No. Best possible
sure?
matchup for wide receivers is the Vikings.
No, but like for Mahomes lately, this probably is one of his best shots at being a good quarterback.
You said that about the Chargers, and how'd that turn out?
Who would have thought the Chargers would be
This
this
is the
good on
best matchup
defense?
for
It was like
QBs.
week
This is the
5, 4.
What'd you
But
say?
that's the
LaPlante?
thing. They are the best matchup for QBs, but you've seen the
You
in
just
good
told me it
matchups.
wasn't. Asshole.
I said the wide receivers. I said for wide receivers.
No, but I said, wasn't this the best matchup for Mahomes? And you told me no. But
I
it
was
is.
talking wide receivers when I said no.
Why though?
Gosh,
We don't give a shit
Because-
about D Hop or Xavier Worthy.
because usually the QB scoring correlates to the wide receiver scoring.
Just go to your sour play. And why is it
Just-
Patrick Mahomes?
Digging the hole
I mean,
deeper.
You didn't even say your sweet play, Ike. And it's not a hole. I mean, give me any QB. I'm starting him over Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's obvious
So-
my sweet play was Patrick Mahomes.
No, it's not. My sour play is, and I don't think he's going to, but it's Mike Evans if he plays.
No, he's not playing. Don't even say that.
I didn't see any designation whether he was out or doubtful or
He ain't
whatnot. That's why I'm
playing, man.
saying this. But
Said
even if
ain't
he
coming
does
to the
play,
bye.
I'm just saying if he does play, he gets the
Yeah, don't start him if he plays.
Yeah, he gets the treatment. You know, the wide receiver. You just can't score fantasy points on the Kansas City. You know, they're
Stop
the
talking
toughest
about it.
match-
He's not playing.
Shut up, so I can talk about it. And then if
Why?
he's
There's no point.
he's not if he's not playing, because the whole point is you're not starting the wide receivers out of this core after what we saw last week, because the running backs and the tight ends got involved, and you're not starting Rashad White, I don't think, against this matchup. It is the toughest matchup for running backs. Even if Bucky Irving is out, I mean you're finding a better option than Rashad White.
I agree. That's who my sour was.
Like if it was J.K. Dobbins or Rashad White, I'd go
Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, even with the tough matchup.
Yeah.
If Bucky's a go, are you guys comfortable starting him here or no?
No.
Even worse for both.
Right on. You're worried about Baker too. Is he outside the top 12 here?
Baker proved
Yeah,
me
I'm
wrong last week, but
I'm worried
that's what
because
his
this
career
is prime
Chiefs are
time
good,
though,
man.
too. This is prime time though. And the Chiefs are really good on defense in prime time. I don't know what it is, but
Chiefs are
Stack
just
has to
really
play
good on
well.
defense all the times right now.
So like
Clearly.
I think Baker's gonna have a tough one.
Yep.
All right. We got a question here before we end the show. Start 3: Cup, AJ Brown, Chase, and Olave.
I'd sit Olave on that one. Start the first 3, sit Olave.
If
Yes.
Puka
Especially-
Nacua ends up playing, I would take the last 3, but that chances are I don't think Puka's playing, so I'm doing Cup, AJ, and Chase. But monitor the Puka situation.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Jamie, that's a QB I'm not starting over Mahomes.
Same with Sam Darnold.
I'm starting Sam Darnold over Mahomes.
All the shade towards Sam Darnold. I kind of love it, man. Turn it back into a pumpkin. Is he's seeing ghosts since it was so close to Halloween, Ike, or what?
Oh, it's gonna be even worse
Ike,
this Sunday.
Ike, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield?
That one's Baker for me. I'm gonna roll.
No, that one's Sam Darnold.
That one's Sam Darnold. Baker's bad.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close
Right,
out the show. This was a lot of fun tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed it. On your way out, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live. And when we go live for the Sunday Social at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern, we're going to have Alan Sandage on for his best bets. Joe Bond will be here with his rankings for the week. Then myself, LaPlante, maybe Ike, maybe Jordan Schultz will be on talking start sit questions, answering all those for you. And then our DFS guys, Chris Robin and Keith Fleming will be there talking DFS. Like I said, guys, join that Discord, become an all access member. I said one of our DFS guys, Dave Eddy, on the Thursday showdown slate went over $1,000 last night. And that he's always in there giving out great info, great tips, all that stuff, helping you build your lineups. And that's fantasy6pack.net/plans, become an all access member. So make sure to do that. But for Mike and for Ike, I'm Dylan. We'll talk to you guys next week. The candy shop is closed. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let me show you what I